Good morning, welcome to today's garden video, which is coming from indoors today because it's been a little bit windy outside. So I've retreated indoors and I thought I'd share with you some of the houseplants that I've got. This is our sunroom, which is south facing, so it's a great place for plants. They get plenty of light, they get plenty of sunshine, and these are all plants which like that kind of location. So they're a mix of plants which my mum had, which now must be at least 8-9 years old, I would say, and some plants that I brought with me from my flat in Aberdeen, and a couple of extra ones that I've added in since I moved in. So first of all, we've got the geraniums, a nice little pink one here, and you can see that's a dark orange one. My mum loved geraniums in the sunroom here, and I can see why, because they're a lovely pop of colour and they flower all summer long. You just keep deadheading them and the flowers just keep coming, which is great. They're also easy to look after. I let the compost on the top dry out before I water them again because they don't like to be waterlogged. And that's great because it means if I forget to water them for a few days, if I'm busy, if I just forget, then it doesn't matter. They're quite forgiving plants. And I think that's important because as carers, we've got enough to do. We've got enough to look after. You don't want fussy plants that you've got to be hovering over all the time. A friend gave me a couple of tomato plants a couple of years ago and I stuck them in grow bags here. But they turned into a little bit of a pain because they do need a bit more work in terms of looking after. And I just found it was a bit too much. They required too much attention. It wasn't very practical. So these guys are much more forgiving, much easier to look after. I'm going to bring this plant over. Another group of plants easy to look after, if you're thinking of house plants at all, is cacti. And I brought this over to the camera to let you see that it's flowering, which is lovely. Cactus flowers, I think, are just gorgeous. They're so delicate. Beautiful colours, beautiful jewel-like colours. They don't flower for very long, but I still think they're worth it. And this one's got a few, you can see some extra little buds that are still to come out. So I'm delighted. This was a rescue plant. I got this from the supermarket for about 50p at the end of last summer, and it was pretty much on its last legs. And actually over the winter, I thought it was going to keel over. It didn't look very happy. But come the spring, I put some fresh compost in, stuck it on the windowsill, and it's just a star. It's just flowering away very nicely, so I'm really happy with that. The next plant that I brought with me, I've actually got two of these, but I'll just show you the one just now, is a jade plant. And I just love the way that's grown. I love the shape it's growing into. That was a cutting from a friend, so it cost me nothing at all. And it's just done really, really well. And I'm going to bring the camera in a bit so you can see. Being a succulent, it stores water in these big fleshy leaves, which again is fantastic because it means it doesn't need watered too frequently. It likes a reasonable amount of water when it's growing over the summer, but I could leave that, I could forget about that for a week and it's going to be absolutely fine. So again, a nice, unfussy, forgiving plant. These are some salad leaves that I planted a few weeks ago now. These need a little bit more of attention because they like regular watering. But other than that, I just stuck them in a plastic pot and then put a bit of gravel at the bottom of the trough and stuck them in there to see how they would do. And they've actually not done brilliantly. I've got two rocket here on either side, and then this in the middle is ruby chard. But they germinated and started growing very, very quickly. They shot up quite quickly. So they're a bit thin and weedy. Not really as healthy as the outdoor salad leaves that I grew last year. But I've had a couple of pickings from them that I've been able to put in a sandwich at lunchtime. So, you know, better than nothing, but maybe not quite as successful as I'd hoped. But I'm going to keep them over here by the windowsill and they'll produce a couple of more pickings before the seeds are finished. So those are my house plants, and if I can't get out into the garden, it's quite nice just to be able to potter and do a little bit of deadheading and watering. I talk to my plants as well, so I find it quite nice, even just 5-10 minutes, just to come and look after my plants and just, you know, switches you off for a few minutes. So if you've got a spare windowsill somewhere and you've got room for a cacti or another type of plant, I definitely recommend it. It's nice to have living green things in your house, and I do recommend it. So that's the indoor guide to my plants for today, and hopefully the weather will pick up and I'll be able to get out and share with you some more outdoor videos next time. Bye for now.